Marking and cutting of fabric for a sanitary pad. Amrita's sanitary pad is a new kind of sanitary pad made from reusable cloth which has a leak-proof layer. The disposable pads available in the market take around 500 to 800 years to degrade, and in the process of making and burning it creates environmental pollution. Amrita sanitary pads is a very good alternative to the disposable pads as it can be washed and reused, thus making it environment friendly. At the end of the session, you will be able to mark and cut fabric for a sanitary pad. Let's first familiarize with the tools and materials required for marking and cutting fabric for a sanitary pad. We will require cotton fabric, leak-proof fabric, pattern of flap piece and holding piece, pattern square, measuring tape, tailor's chalk, and shears. The sanitary pad that we are going to make consists of two parts, a flap piece and a holding piece. You will be provided the pattern for the flap piece and the holding piece. We will use the pattern of the flap piece and the holding piece to mark and cut fabric for the sanitary pad. Now let's see how to mark and cut fabric for the flap piece. We will require two flap pieces for our sanitary pad. This is our pattern for the flap piece. First, fold the cotton fabric as shown. Now place the pattern of the flap piece to see if it fits on the folded fabric. Trace the outline of the pattern of the flap piece on fabric with tailor's chalk. Now remove the pattern from the fabric. Correct the marked outline of the pattern using a pattern square as shown. As you can see, we have two layers of the cotton fabric. We will now cut the fabric along the marked lines. We get two flap pieces of cotton fabric. Next, we will see how to mark and cut fabric for the holding pieces. We will require two holding pieces of cotton fabric and one holding piece of leak-proof fabric. We will first cut the holding piece of the cotton fabric. This is our pattern for the holding piece. Fold the cotton fabric as shown. Now place the pattern of the holding piece to see if it fits on the folded fabric. Trace the outline of the pattern of the holding piece onto the fabric with tailor's chalk. Now remove the pattern from the fabric. Correct the marked outline of the pattern using a pattern square as shown. We will now cut the fabric along the marked lines. We get two holding pieces of cotton fabric. Next, we will cut the holding piece from the leak-proof fabric. For this, again place the pattern of the holding piece on the leak-proof fabric. Now trace the pattern of the holding piece onto the fabric with tailor's chalk. Correct the marked outline of the pattern using pattern square. We will now cut out the holding piece. Thus, we have cut out two flap pieces and three holding pieces for the sanitary pad. In this session, we have seen how to mark and cut fabric for a sanitary pad. Before we conclude, let's take a look at the key steps involved in marking and cutting of fabric for a sanitary pad. Step 1. Fold the cotton fabric and trace the pattern of the flap piece onto the fabric. Step 2. Correct the marked outline of the pattern using a pattern square. Step 3. Cut the fabric along the marked lines to get 2 flap pieces. Step 4. Folding the cotton fabric again, trace the pattern and cut the fabric to get 2 holding pieces. Step 5. Trace the pattern and cut out 1 holding piece from the leak-proof fabric. With that, we have come to the end of this session.